Okay, today we're making our family recipe cabbage rolls. My family calls them rice dumplings. My granddad was born in Austria, so it's a family recipe that nobody else knows how to make. So we're gonna do this in sections, and in front of me I have all the ingredients and necessary utensils to make this. So what we have here is 6.5 pounds of blade pork steak. We have 4 heads of cabbage, 3 large onions. If you're going to make this, 4 or 5 medium ones will work. 2 pounds of rice, chicken broth, which we don't know how much we need yet, a large pot for blanching the cabbage leaves, a huge roasting pan, preferably with the spacer on the bottom so the cabbage rolls don't sit and cook in their own juice, and a large mixing bowl. So, and a gallon of sauerkraut. I might need a little bit more. So we're going to take a short break, and we're going to start cutting some meat and cutting up the onions, and we'll take short little clips of everything as we go. So here we go, rock and roll.
Wow, technical stuff. I get to run the
You got a good opener. I assume you know how to dice onions, Bob?
Absolutely.
There's especially going to be some bone in the middle. I'll have to carve around it.
Watch out, you might.
Hey, what time do we start? Well, it'll be on the video. Because when I do this all by myself, it takes me 2 hours to get it in the oven.
How long did it take us the other day?
The Cook Brothers, K-O-C-H, pronounced cook in English. And we are the Cabbage Roll Kings. And Bob has come up in a genius way to core our cabbage. So here we go with cabbage core. Get on it, Bob. Watch this, man. Is this cool or what? Oh, you didn't tighten it. Okay. And this is how the Cook Boys core a cabbage. We're going to blanch these in water. And then as I'm getting down to the pork, now I'm getting down to the bone. So it's getting more difficult to cut up the pork. But we just keep hacking away at it. And once again, when you do this pork, you want it par frozen. Because trust me, if you try to do this and thawed out, it's 10 times harder.
This is intense.
It's nice to have help. When I do this by myself, it takes me 2 hours to get them in the oven. Okay. With all this good help, of course, we're all cooks, you know. Our ancestors were cooks. We all cook. Granddad was born in Austria, which was now a part of a country called Moldavia. It's over by the Ukraine and Romania. So we're actually pretty close to Transylvania. And so I really do believe that we're part vampires. And we do spells on people. So you don't ever want us putting the cook spell on you because bad things happen to you.
So is it okay if I interject something?
Yeah, go ahead, Bob.
About our name?
Yeah, let's hear it.
My youngest son bought me a lineage on the Cook name, and in fact, the Cook name dates back to 600 AD, and from Germania, or whatever it was called then, and the Cook name, K-O-C-H, means the same thing as it does in English, C-O-O-K. And back then, people's last names meant what their profession was. So
exactly.
Originally, the Cook name, K-O-C-H, was because we were cooks and chefs, if they were called chefs back then. So all these names, Koch, Couch, are incorrect.
Correct.
Unless they go back before 600 AD.
In German, it's pronounced Koch.
You got to put the phlegm on the end of it.
Yeah, we're Kochs. And I don't know what shoemakers were schmuckers. I think we're all schmuckers too.
What?
So we just keep hacking away at this pork roast because I'm getting down to bone. And I don't want to make the videos too long. Okay, now this is what we have left. 6.5 pounds of pork steak. it gets a little more difficult when you get down to bones. And my mom's over here shaking her finger. And now, in this pan, we got 2 pounds of rice. We got 6.5 pounds of pork steak cut up in small pieces. And once again, it's important you cut it when it's par frozen. It's really hard to cut up. 3 very large, quiet. 3 very large onions. I've just washed my hands, and now we're gonna have fun. Oh, all the sauerkraut juice is in here too. Diddley, put the flashlight on this, please. And I need a little pepper. Grab the pepper shake. Do we put salt in this too?
Yes, a little bit. Tablespoon.
Okay. Karen, come shake some pepper
Lots
for
of
me,
pepper.
because my hands are a mess.
Lots of pepper.
More, pour nothing on.
Oh, take the lid
Oh, it
off.
smells good.
Keep going.
Yep. I agree. And that's probably good. And then give me a couple tablespoons of salt to sprinkle on here. This is the fun part. And it's also cold. Oh, the pepper's going to make me sneeze. I don't know what's going to happen.
How many tablespoons?
A couple tablespoons.
Excuse me, I turned my head. There's no sneeze in the food.
Bless you.
Pepper got me. There goes some kosher salt. So once again, 6.5 pounds of pork steak, 3 large onions, 2 pounds of rice, all the sauerkraut juice.
More?
That should be good. And we're waiting for the water to boil, and we're going to blanch some leaves, and then we're going to wrap the cabbage rolls and put them in the roasting pan. Okay, another phase of the production. Now we're going to blanch. Got cousin Mike here, and this is cousin Bob. Don't we look hardly a good looking
Leave the
bunch?
fork in them and just.
I'm the best looking.
So now we're blanching the leaves, and he's going to take the leaves out, and I'm going to let them cool a minute, and then we're going to roll up the cabbage rolls, which is a little bit of a science. Well, anybody can do it, but it takes a
You
little
think
knack.
he's going to wilt them too much?
Okay, so when you do the blanching, we just need to get the leaves pliable. And then we're going to let them cool for a minute before I wrap them up.
They just automatically come off. See?
Yep.
This is a family event.
Kind of like what Hank says, a family
Now
tradition.
you see how I do it?
Yep, I got you.
Okay.
Do you have tongs to take out the ones that are bland?
And I think those other ones can be taken out because
Yeah.
they're hot enough to wilt.
Right.
Yep. Oh yeah.
You can get them. You don't need tongs, do you?
Nope, I don't need no tongs.
Got it?
Just don't cut them. Don't poke them.
I will.
Poke holes in
I
'em.
know what I'm doing. I've done this more than you.
They're too hot to handle. You need to,
Nope.
need to let the
No,
leaves
they're
cool.
not.
They're not? Okay, well, and everybody's going to try this. Ooh, it's a little warm yet. Everybody gets to do this, to learn. But you
I
start
don't
out,
have because I've done it all my life.
you get a handful.
too.
I hold it right over the pan, Bob. And this is a little bit of a tricky part too. You start with the, what end will you call that?
The core in.
The core end.
Core in.
And I fold them over like that. And then roll them up like this.
And you don't put a toothpick in them?
No, no.
Otherwise they'll blow up.
Nope.
And you don't take some
Bob,
of the white...
yours look better than mine.
Yeah.
You know, we came up with a new name for these instead of cabbage rolls. We started calling them German burritos. You're filming. That, I didn't mean to put that on there. Good job.
Put your sides in first and then...
You think?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's how he's doing them. See how pretty
I need
they
a.
are. This is the way I do it.
Like this first?
Here's what I need.
Sides first.
Like that?
Sometimes you just gotta trim the core a
Chris,
little bit.
we could have Bob teach us how to do the roll.
I'm just a novice here.
Since
I'm learning.
Bob's the king roller.
Yeah, a little bit more.
Now Bob's actually doing a better job than me on it. His are coming out pretty.
See, the sides first.
No, he did the core first.
You did?
Yes.
Then it was a small tuck.
Okay.
Perfect.
You keep doing that.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, I'm starting to warm up the oven. We start them out at 350 And then as soon as we can smell them, and believe me, we will smell them, then I turn it down to 2 1/4. And up here at the high altitude, they cook from 5 to 6 hours. Is we're packing that first layer in sauerkraut. So I'm going to use about half the sauerkraut. That looks about half. Good, Bob?
It's like putting a little blanket on over the babies.
And now we're going to start
Our next row.
the next row, same thing. And it should come out perfect. If it comes out perfect, we're going to have exactly 2 rows. And the rest of the sauerkraut, second row, but this came out just right. A big roasting pan. And now we're going to cover this with cabbage leaves that we haven't used. And these are the ones that are on the outside. So we're just making a cover of the cabbage leaves. These are the outside of the head. This is going to go in the oven, and like I said, at the high altitude here, almost 6 hours. We'll test them about 4.
Pre-sample.
Okay, and you might as well keep it rolling, Vicki. As the next thing, oh, somebody open that chicken broth, please. Now, the original recipe was just water. I used chicken broth, and we're going to pour in that chicken broth.
Open that.
It'll take some more minutes to soak in, but we're going to pour it to the level. And like this is something I changed from the original recipe. The original recipe was just water. So we're going to fill it until we can, about 1 inch from the top. That sound right to you guys?
Mm-hmm.
Another can of chicken broth, please.
What's the hold up?
Nothing.
Those need to be eaten because they're real soft.
I'll be careful.
And I don't know if you need the third one or not.
Because I got up 2 or 3 times during the night. I got some Pepto-Bismol. Oh, I am feeling
Now,
better.
if you come closer, Vicki, this is what you want to see. About that much from the top. And I think that's about good. You guys agree?
All the way around there?
Yeah. Yep. You guys agree?
Yep.
Okay, we're done. We're going to put the lid on and put them in the oven. The oven's going to be at 350 until we smell them, and then it turns down 2 1/4 and for about 5-6 hours, and we'll take another picture then. So, the Cook Brothers and our production crew,
Anling Dumpling Fest.
in the oven we go. How long did it take us? 1 hour?
An hour and 10 minutes.
Hour and 10 minutes. It usually takes me over 2 hours, and I got to do it myself. Okay.
Sweet.
6 hours later, after a few beers at the local bar, and the cabbage rolls are done. Taking the first one out, setting on a plate. I'm going to open it up so everybody can see what they look like.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Look at them.
Yeah, like that.
Don't they look yummy?
So we finally get to reap the harvest. And we don't need to, we do just pull them out of the sauerkraut, put a couple on a plate, and everybody is anxiously awaiting. And that, folks, is the end of our cabbage roll
Documentary.
documentary. Now we're going to eat.
Amen.
Amen.